Good morning, land of YouTube. Oh, look how small my vehicle looks back there. Well, I gotta admit, it's a little weird parking and walking where I used to live and walk from. I like this routine so much that I believe I will come and park here unless I'm closer to the other end or something like that. And then I would do the opposite routine. Say I live in Sebastopol or something like that. I like it so much that I would come and park here even if I had to drive 10 miles. And I'm sure I like new just as equally as much. So it wouldn't be like a consistent daily thing that I would do over here because I don't live here anymore. But it is such a good trail, and there's certain individuals that only frequent this path on a daily routine. So it's the only place that I get to see them or interact with them. I have to keep that in mind. Well, I wouldn't say it's not the, you know what? Let me back up. It's not the only place that I get to interact with certain individuals. There's a couple that I've run into over here that I know from somewhere else. And then actually I've run into one individual that says he does this every day that I know for a long time. I've known for 15 years or longer. Maybe even longer, yeah. Probably closer to 20 years. I mean, after all, I am 38, so I've had 20 years experience as a legal adult. Able to make choices and be prosecuted as a legal adult. 20 years experience, huh? I guess it's starting to show. Look at all them wrinkles. Oh! Gotta get some of that Miracle fucking Maybelline shit to tone up these wrinkles. I'm just joking. Oh, shit. Okay, so energy drink madness today. Energy drink madness. Matches my nails. I mean, I didn't plan that. That one's fucked up, don't look at it. That one's fucked up, don't look at it. But, you know what? I better change hands. Because you gotta see the other side is fucked up too. I chipped that one. Nails are about to be redone. What we got is goat fuel, greatest of all time fuel. Now these things I have had before, not this flavor. I found them at Target of all places. Originally, they were only up north, and then they started making their way down here. I believe the first place I found them was up around Ukiah. Maybe not. Maybe Lakeport. Out of Rotten Robbie. And, yeah, that's probably the first place that I saw them. Nowhere else had them. I was looking for them intently. No one had them. Just like those Ghost energy drinks. I believe I first found those I found up in Hopland, and they were nowhere else until Rotten Robbie had them too. So, you know, it's funny. It's like I can see the guys that are distributing shit like this, and their routine or their path of travel to sell really good products. I like Ghost energy drinks. They're really good for you and your mind and your body. And I believe that if you feed your mind and your body properly, then your soul is nourished. Now, large amounts of caffeine aren't good for everybody. I don't know if I said that right. Large amounts of caffeine is not good for everyone. If you're sensitive to caffeine, do not consume these things. And the best thing about these, like this one has 0 sugar, electrolytes, essential vitamins, and cordyceps. It's got shit from mushrooms in it, people. Oh man, the stuff that fungus can do for our bodies and minds. I have not been wild mushroom foraging for a while. I did do a little bit last year with my kids when we went camping up in the Mendocino forest. And we found some yummy stuff and we ate it. It was really good. And I got a spot that I go to, and it's pretty consistent with certain type of mushroom that I like. And it's not like a regular golden chanterelle, but it's so tasty. They're yellowfoot chanterelles. Fucking love them. I keep my eye out for hedgehogs at the same time. And then like Prince of the Woods or a Porcini. You know, it's certain things are out at certain times. It's like a whole different world learning what pops up when, what mycelium decides to fruit, at what times. Clearly there's got to be rain, right? And yeah, so after the big rains, you know, and it's warmed up a little bit, there's always a certain time I go out and look. I just feel it. I go there and they're everywhere. Or they're in like not quite ready stages, or they're too old sometimes, but I find still good stuff. So this flavor is gummy bear. I have, and like the blueberry lemonade, I got one of the tropical punch ones, I think, or something like that. I really didn't like it. The flavor wasn't that great, but I still drank it because they're, you know, they're good. These things are like rocket fuel. One. Well, and I've watched. I gave one to a friend of mine in the morning, and this guy drank it at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. He told me the next day, he's like, dude, I didn't sleep all night. I was like, why? I drank that damn energy drink you gave me. And I was like, you're supposed to drink that in the morning, not at night. Like, come on, man. Don't drink a fucking energy drink in the afternoon. So many people are doing that. I used to fucking do it when I was younger. I don't know how I survived, honestly. You know, one thing I really like about clearing my head or seeing what flows out of me as I observe my morning walk and the dialogue that I get into as I like dive headfirst into my narrative or my mind or where my mindset is or what's going on in my life. I don't really focus on everything. I do love to focus on what I'm learning, and I crave knowledge, and I crave to share that same mindset with everyone or anyone that's willing to listen and in different phases of growing and knowledge. Certain things can only be perceived by certain people at certain times. Good morning. And I think the miracle of that statement means that there are levels of awareness everywhere. If I'm talking and it makes not one drop of sense to someone, and I'm speaking gobbledygook, what are they really perceiving at that point? Are they actually hearing what I'm saying? Or does it just not make any sense to them because they have no way to correlate to, or no base to understand the content that I'm delivering in a conversation? Let me put this into perspective. Columbus shows up offshore. Native Americans, the native local tribe, has never seen a boat that big. I'm not sure if the ones by the ocean were actually venturing out in the ocean in handmade canoes or not. So I'm pretty sure they did have canoes. But I believe that they've never seen anything quite like the Nina, the Pinta, or the Santa Maria. I almost broke into a rhyme with boats and hoes. Better stay away from that shit. It's funny. Will Ferrell. Goddamn, he's a funny guy. So, big giant boats. Can someone remember what boat Columbus came on? Which one he was on when he first showed up offshore? And so, we have the Indians, or the native indigenous population, that is unable to really observe that boat. They have no way to correlate what it is, so they don't see it. But then, you know, as they're out there doing their normal stuff, they start seeing the water move differently. And then as their awareness of that rises, they start seeing what would look like a wall, right? And then the rest of the boat fills in and they see people. And they're like, oh my God. And then they alert everybody and everybody sees the damn boat. Right? So that's the same thing with knowledge that somebody didn't naturally, organically build up their base to get to. In their head, they have no way to correlate certain knowledge because they didn't naturally go out and study anything, right? And so if I walk up to any average person that I run into, in which case there's plenty of opportunities for that, and I start talking to them in a way that I perceive and think about reality, or how I am addressing certain topics to cope with life and utilizing certain tools to understand how to no longer react in a situation, but to observe it, to really be in control of my emotions in a way that, you know, I fight my battles with logic and preparation, knowledge, and skill. And I back things up without a conflict, and I de-escalate most every situation that is possible to de-escalate. And if it's not, I will walk away. I want to get into some other deeper knowledge stuff. And I want to segue into that with conflict resolution or something like that. You know, I just had a compliment yesterday, so it's hot on the press, right? Hot on the forefront of my mind about teaching conflict resolution, in which case the harm reduction is conflict resolution. I practice harm reduction in every area and every walk of my life. And what that means is I will do my best to teach anyone that cares to listen, anyone that's struggling or asks for help, or, you know, I have people reach out to me and ask me for help or advice. And I'll tell them maybe not what they want to hear, but I will tell them a solution, a possible, like, I'll give them a tool, like, here's a resource, go utilize it. Because that's the best way to, you know, ultimately to teach survival. And to retrain someone that has been surviving so long, maybe, in this illusion that everything was a fight and a struggle in life. And I'm not saying that there's not a fight and a struggle. Everybody's got their own shit they're dealing with. But I think there's a lot of people that see this life as something that's extremely perplexed and hard to really find maybe like something that works, or a secret to being able to go out and be happy and do what you want. Everybody's born into this life, thrust into a fast-paced society, told to go get a job. They're like, but I don't even know what I want to do. Some people find that out early, and they're happy, and they're very, very highly gifted and successful through life. Some people go through life, never find that. Some people find it later in life. Some people go through nothing but trauma, right? And some people have all the luck and never ever see trauma. What I like to study is the whole damn thing. Like, I always like to look at every angle. And if I am in the opportunity to offer any kind of advice or point someone in a different direction that's going to be more beneficial, if I'm able to pump knowledge into someone's head, and it could be any kind of knowledge that I've learned. If it applies to the situation, most likely I'm going to deliver the knowledge. The fun part is, even if it sounds like gobbledygook, or they don't understand what the fuck I'm saying, the funnest part is that goes into their subconscious. And later on, at some point, it'll come out. Subconscious mind. The subconscious mind has the ability to surprise everybody, because mainly our subconscious minds as human beings are responsible for what we perceive as reality. And collectively, we share this reality we are all in, and then individually everybody's realities are different from their own perspective. Let me explain. Subconscious minds project mainly our stronger emotions as an overlay into the reality that we perceive collectively. So we're all walking around unconsciously creating and manifesting our stronger emotions that we want to hide from in our subconscious, because that's the way our subconscious really does handle things. It purges out the deeper things that we don't face in our waking, active hours of consciousness when we're walking around and we're facing it. The other part of our mind goes to work on really meaningless, irrational things that we already know aren't real, and that kind of surfaces in dreams. Sometimes it'll get rid of that stuff in dreamy dreamland. It's just like a memory dump, right? To keep random access memory, RAM, available for the waking hours. Sometimes it's okay to forget shit too, because if we remembered everything all at once, well, fuck, we'd be like some kind of AI. But whether you know it or not, you run around creating your own reality overlaid with everybody else's ability to do the same. Some people are more aware than others. Some people use that intentionally to get ahead in this life. Some people use it for malicious reasons, for harm. Because you know what? I think everybody's got a place. In the reality I perceive, everybody's got a different layer, a different role, a different place, a different spot to be able to create the whole picture, the whole work of art, the whole symphony, the whole play. This show keeps going on. Everybody and everything is here in layers, so we get to walk around and perceive it, to be able to be in it, to see it, to live it, to feel it. I guess, from an outside perspective, we signed on for this. I was like, I like the pain route. I'm going to go through intense suffering where I didn't deserve it. My whole life, growing up from a little tiny person until now, has been riddled with just crazy amounts of shit that I've had to deal with, whereas the person next door didn't. Or somebody else does way worse stuff. I mean, like, somebody is just skating with all kinds of crazy violence and shit, right? And they never get held accountable. Or somebody does the same exact identical thing, and they're like, yeah, everything seems to be in order. You're good to go. Me? Go do 2 years in prison. Same shit. Like, same exact identical shit. With that in mind, I'm not just some hardened criminal. I have been in trouble mainly 2 times in my life to where I have been incarcerated. I have, however, also been in a situation to where I've been a victim almost my whole life. From a young age, identifying with my mother, she was a victim. Lots of physical trauma. And, you know, it's really traumatic to watch physical trauma along with receive it. I think that I'm blessed with every single thing that I've gone through to be able to walk around with the level head that I have now in order to really, 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 really make a difference in not only my life, but everybody around me. Anybody that I run into. They get some kind of level, I would say it's wisdom, because not a lot of people get to walk around with no mask on, with no fake face for society. I'm just really me. So many people do what they think they should do, and they're not really themselves. They hide from themselves. From my view, I see it all throughout everywhere. Some people are genuine. I can see them immediately. You know, I'm not saying all, but when somebody's genuine, I know it immediately when I meet them. It's apparent in their behavior, how they handle themselves. 9 times out of 10, the person that is more genuine is less harmful to anybody because they're not harming themselves first. So, my suggestion to anybody that would be struggling with anything that makes them feel not okay inside is to face whatever's motivating that head on. Deal with it. Get it the fuck out of the way. I don't care what fears are around it. Face those goddamn fears. Go headfirst into them, or you're forever going to be stuck into that. You'll never move forward, and you'll never grow. The objective in a human being's life path, or in my opinion, the most important thing that we have here on earth to do as a job is spiritual growth. Period. I mean, we're spiritually evolving. We're not just evolving as the culmination of evolution, walking culmination of evolution. We are fucking it, guys. Let me go a little bit into that for a second. In the my mouth ain't working. Let me drink my Go Juice. The moon's half full today. I love it. It's a little bit like Hey Arnold's head. Okay. In the gestation cycle, as a single-celled organism and all that shit, basically, mitosis, we pretty much, from the moment of inception, or conception, not inception, blah, 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 wrong words. There's a message I'm trying to get out. I'm probably going to botch it up a little bit because I didn't plan this. It just comes off the top of my head from the last time I studied it, which was, like 10 plus years ago, the last time I heard this message. And basically, the long and short of it is, we mimic all stages of evolution in the gestation cycle. We go through a primate phase where we shed our primate fur, an aquatic phase, and we're floating along in like this heaven-like amniotic fluid, right? Everything's grand. We don't know any different. We're just hearing what we're told through the connection with Mother, right? Can you picture another umbilical cord right now that we all have tethered to our head, like we're connected to Mother right now in the womb? This womb, Earth, Mother Earth, our womb we're in with our life source, the sun up there. Can you picture a different umbilical cord connecting you to the cosmos? It's purple. It's flowing with energy. You can find a deepened connection if you go into a meditative state and you imagine this. It takes some practice, and I think it takes the right candidate. I think there's all kinds of different layers to this design at play that really, I think it factors into a lot. So I don't believe that everybody's able to just jump right into something like this. I believe that everybody's in different layers of perception and awareness. So most people, if they're not following me, they're going to turn off this fucking video. And I'm jumping into some advanced shit real quick. Whereas some people don't even, they hear meditate and they're like, yeah, fuck it. For a long time I did too. I could not get myself to meditate. I have had a very dramatically different experience since actually getting to meditate on a regular basis or semi-regular basis. It's no joke, because I think everything I've studied spiritually kind of just comes into play, and I haven't narrowed or locked myself into one belief system or structure. That was probably the start of it. At one point I was head over heels for Christ. As a Christ follower, baptized when I was young, baptized by a really good man, and also just out doing good works for Jesus, right? Well, that was the misconception. I was doing good works for a man named Jesus of Nazareth, not Christ that was in the Jesus. You know, some people go Christ Jesus. Think about it. The Christ is actually something that everybody has within them. And they have the ability to access this and make it a dominant feature in their life and the way they really bring things to creation. Some more so than others. Some are really locked into this narrow-minded mentality that it's all in this book. And I don't know if they've had a real experience. I think they may have some or a mild spin on it. Some of it could be mental illness. Some could be delusion. Some could be just learned behavior because they've been around it so long, exposed to it for so long, indoctrinated by the church for so long with the same text over and over and over and over and over that, it just became who they are. I don't know if that's real. I know that there's a divine guidance that flows through me. And I know that when I meditate, it looks like a invisible purple cord, and I know that that's always attached to me, and I know that I'm always receiving divine guidance and wisdom through my connection to the universe, through this purple umbilical cord that feeds me, nourishes me, and brings me to life in ways that, I think as a individual or as Donnie, I could have never really perceived. And it is very extremely difficult expressing everything that I would want to express through my mouth. There's so many different things that I don't even know if I could put into words. Consciously, I've been into different mindsets that make not one drop of sense to most people I've ever talked to. I have been able to get into a deeper state of mind and consciousness with certain individuals more recently that I found that are very like-minded. And then privileged with one of these individuals saying, hey, have you ever learned this? Or have you ever heard this? And he starts sharing some stuff with me. And I was like, no. And I'm listening. And I thought it was really cool because he was describing the science behind the reason that fish and birds now they're different, but birds all turn left and right at the same time, somewhat. And fish do the same thing in schools. And he was describing to me the science behind it, the reasoning. Now, I've always loved that mentality because what we do is we look for an answer, we prove it, we back it up with fact, right? Then there's some things that answers come from nowhere with me. Knowledge comes from nowhere. And it's just provable. I can prove it. Physically, I pull up my magical little data piece right here, my iPhone 13. And it's connected to the internet, and it gives me the exact answer that I just said. And I didn't study it. Now, what is that? There's a term called claircognizance, where one is knowledgeable from nowhere. Just pulls answers literally out of thin air. I like learning all different ways. Most of the time, I'm just really open to, let's say, the grand design of this orchestrated motion picture in front of me. God through everything. Now, I get to the point that if God is in everything, right? And God is omnipotent and omnidimensional and all-knowing. I don't know if anybody's ever said God was omnidimensional. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omnidimensional. I think that I might have been the first. I've never heard omnidimensional in this Trinity. But those three require a presence everywhere at all times. Right? So if God is in and part of every single thing that we walk around seeing, then we are a part of God. And God is not external to us. God is in us. That means we are fucking God, guys. Like, it's really not a far leap from if God is in everything to we are God. We're all just pieces of God, right? Some are very much more aware of that strong potentiality than others. And they use it in different ways. People are selfish. Humans are fucked up. Some of them. I don't see that anymore. I can look at it. I can focus on it. And then I can see it. And then I run into it. As my focus shifts, I end up finding it out in reality. If I am focused on these other things, that's all I find in my reality. So it's really funny because technically everything's there. It's just my perception that is shifting. So I find what I'm tuned into. Let's put that into a real world application. You get your mindset on a new car, and it's a Toyota, right? Toyota Corolla. Then all of a sudden you start seeing Toyota Corollas everywhere. And you're like, damn, I didn't notice there was this many exact models on the road. It must be a sign. Well, let's think about that in an ass backwards order. It's more like your perception shifted, so you became aware of it, so you started identifying with it and seeing it. And it was what you were heading towards because you decided you were going to be getting a Toyota Corolla. So you manifested it everywhere around you in your perception first. Then you are in the Toyota Corolla. So as far as manifestation goes, if anybody's willing to break through the ice and decide that they want to start manifesting things in their life, there's tons of tools I can hand you that will lead you there. There's some really good teachers out there. I can work one-on-one with people, and a lot of times I have the tendency to go like full bore and scramble people's brains. I call it scrambled egg mode because I dump too much knowledge too fast. And then I get 1,000-yard stare out of most individuals that I'm encountering. But the good work is, even if you don't like me afterwards, I watch the people change. Seriously, I watch a change in every single fucking person I encounter for the better, for the good of humanity as a whole. That's the goal. Because right now, we need to show up for ourselves first. We are worth ourselves first. You're worth you, people. Then the world can benefit. And the world needs more of us. The world needs us. Everyone needs everyone. What we're doing is we're moving towards an era of man that is so much more harmonious than, that static, detached, ruffled, angry existence I think I went through at one point in my life. Observing road rage, tuned into that frequency. It doesn't need to exist. 100 times more harmonious than mankind ever knew. There is a mindset to be attained. And then there's beyond that, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. Because a lot of times I see this 5D harmony and mindset, and then I see, man, there's still egoistic character attachments on every level where people manipulate and use it to their own advantage, and then they think they need to somehow keep that power to benefit from it. That's their cage. They're in a prison, kind of. And they're doing harm and damaging others that have a higher potential and a higher purpose. So I shy away from certain environments to where people are at their plateau, so to speak, or have reached their level to where I consider them leveled. They're leveled off. They're not going nowhere for a while. I cannot go and impact them or their life or their relationship with themselves because it would be so draining to me that it could actually be detrimental. That makes that person that's doing that like an energy vampire. They're just there harvesting all these other people's energies to stay on top. And they bring people up somewhat, maybe to their level, but they're like, you can't go past my level. That's the drawback. I don't give a fuck. I do need to conserve my energy for me, though. There's been times that I've gone and given out a lot of energy. I felt physically drained. I didn't know how to become recharged. And I had to call back all of my energy. When I did call back all of my energy, I watched every single individual that I've done good work with, shy of 2, revert right back to their natural path and their natural bullshit. Also, at the same point in time, I had removed myself as an influence from their life. So, I think good work really comes with building up a knowledge base. Typically, if anybody's going to watch a 40-minute video of me rambling to see what I'm going to say, they might be craving knowledge. Or just to see what I'm going to say. They might even think I'm crazy. I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. I'm not worried about what other people think. I'm not in their head unless they bring it to me. Then I can possibly address it and use it as constructive criticism to better myself and my behavior and how I am perceived by those around me. I cover a lot of different experiences and different topics in my life. 20 years as an adult has taught me a few things. Whereas some people go out and they just build up their wealth, they build up their life, they build up their house, they build up their property, they build up all these material possessions. The Bible warns against that. The Bible literally, Jesus would tell you to donate everything to the poor, and that's how you gain entrance into the kingdom of heaven. Well, guess what? It is because people are so attached to certain things that that's their idea of heaven, their material wealth, right? And to face the fear of not having the material wealth that they so hardly worked for, hardly so, they worked for so hard in their life. It would be the biggest thing for them to let go. That would actually open them up to finding that the kingdom of heaven was within them at all times. God, I wish for everyone to have a very massive set and shift in consciousness, but set of spiritual awakenings. I almost demand it from people around me. Why? Because it's better to communicate with people. Like, I do have a community of people that are kind of on the same mindset. I have some that are pretty fucking spiritually advanced. Then I have some that have let their ego get ahead of their ego gets inflated, like pumped up, right? And in a way, somebody could probably say mine's pumped up. But I don't let myself affect what's going on. I remove myself every single day. I die to myself. It could be that I really, let's see. I know that if I'm involving myself and not really looking at myself or examining myself, I know that I'm kind of up to no good. At the same point in time, I know that there's a balance, and I know I have not only a soul path and a soul plan, I have a physical path and a physical plan, and a physical body, and a physical family, and I have all these physical requirements that I have to balance and have to have complete harmony with. It's very difficult to balance spirituality with the physical. The two don't typically mix. Case in point, Jesus saying, sell all your material possessions to gain entrance into heaven. Well, he saw that the person that he was talking to was so fucking far deeply attached into their riches that they, they ain't like anybody being buried with their fucking treasure, right? Shit. You're taking your treasure to the afterlife, you're full of shit. It's not happening. You just left your skin. Ain't there. No more. Nope. Maybe that's hell, being detached from what you've always wanted. Separation from God. How about that? Good morning. Maybe we can, as individuals, run around and create our own heaven and hell here on earth based on a mindset. If you're always doing something that you don't want to do, that could be hell. You're detached from what you really want to do. So go be your authentic fucking self. That way you can find your own heaven here on earth before time runs out. You don't need to remember everything fucking 15 minutes before you die. I mean, give me a break. Do you really want to do that? Would you like to wake up right before you're going to die and go, oh shit, not this again? And poof, out into the world you come, and another little tiny upset little life because, well, you know, that upset little life was floating around in heaven and then got crushed into the birth canal, and it hurt. And it was like, ah! Then the pineal gland is activated. Our first ever pineal gland experience to make sure that gland is working is when we get crushed through the birth canal into this existence. We go from a floating amniotic fluid state, not needing to utilize our lungs or anything like that. We're receiving everything through that umbilical cord into this existence. And right now we're receiving everything through that umbilical cord. I'm telling you, it's there. Do you think the fetus inside the mother, do you think that infant inside right before it's going to be born, do you think it even knows what the umbilical cord is? Like, it has any, do you think it's like, oh, hey, feet. Do you think it even cares? I think it's just floating around and fucking like, oh, this is good. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to utilize all my motor skills. I really think that as we not de-evolve, blah. I really think that as we grow, we become more aware of certain things. And I think that maybe at one point we were more aware of spiritual things than we were ever as a human race. And I think that the detachment was our evolution. And then I think there's a reunification process, literally reunifying humanity as a whole with this different spirituality, this living new language that's here on earth. I find it. How many others are going to? You want to come with me? Look into some cool shit. If you're interested in this or any of these topics, and you have watched this video to this point, the 50-minute mark, if this fucking video goes on, I have 2 other ones that were 50 minutes. They didn't make it on. They're still loading. I don't know what the fuck is wrong. But if you're interested in any of this, I can give a few different topics. There's a lot of Alan Watts literature, lectures, or you can look up anything relating to esoteric, and that is spelled ESOTERIC. One really good informative video from back in the day, if you can find it, it would be titled Ungrip, and the other part of the title is Esoteric Agenda. Now, the term esoteric and also Rudolf Steiner, anything with Rudolf Steiner, and there's a lot of other big names I could drop, whatever. The point is that's not the idea. It's just 1 or 2 different breadcrumbs if you're interested in figuring out why I talk the way I do, or obtaining a mindset that, good morning, obtaining a mindset that really shifts your consciousness into a different mode, a beneficial mode for not only your own good, but everybody's, the whole entire globe. So, Esoteric Agenda, Ungrip, Rudolf Steiner, Alan Watts. There's some other really good individuals. I mean, I've kind of gone through the full range of people that were studying themselves. Terence McKenna's brilliant in a one field, right? Everybody's got their own place in different fields, and I've studied from kind of all of it. Good morning. And then there's Manly P. Hall. There is a bunch of new age individuals also doing very good work that you will probably run into as a result of following any of these topics. If you look it up on YouTube, it'll start bringing stuff to your feed that's super important. And you could get swamped by information relating to these topics because AI likes to do that. AI says, well, you're interested in this, so you're going to be interested in this because this person was watching this and that person was watching this and blah, 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 blah. Down the rabbit hole you go. Stay focused and follow whatever shows up that you're interested in, and know that that's the right way. Know that no matter what is happening, that's the only way it could have ever been. And that is how it's supposed to be. I love you all. Stay up, stay lit, and go outside and love somebody and be happy. Get connected with nature. Peace.